Hi, I'm Eric Ode. Welcome to the Poetry Workshop. I'm glad you're here. You know, a big part about wanting to write poetry is having the patience to watch and to think about things in new ways, and then wanting to surprise your reader with new thoughts. And speaking of patience, I have a short little video to show you. My wife was working in the front yard earlier this week, and she thought you might enjoy what she found. Here, take a quick look. Now, I have to tell you, I think snails are absolutely fascinating to watch. They move like almost nothing else. This one seems to be trying to work her way around that stick. I think it's interesting the way her shell seems to fall to one side as she pulls it behind herself. Is she going to make it around the stick? A little further. So I shared that little video with some friends online, and then I asked for their responses. I asked them a couple of things. One, I asked them, what did that snail remind them of? What did it make them think about? And I also asked them to give me some good describing words. Words for the snail, the way it was moving, what the snail looked like, all of those kinds of things. They gave me some really good responses, so let me tell you what I've got written down here. Delilah said she's a swirled, slimy slinky. Isn't that kind of fun? So she's got a lot of alliteration working there. Swirled, slimy slinky. And then she said she moves like a raindrop down a window. And she said her shell is swirled like a big lollipop. That's a fun simile. Wren said it moves humbly and steadily. I love that word humble. You know, humble could mean simply, or it could mean like without a lot of concern about yourself, like not trying to make yourself really important. And I would say both of those things suit a little snail pretty well. Wren also said it moves as slowly as a snowflake drifting. And Hannah said slow, slides, longer, and then she also said she noticed it was blue with a pretty shell. And Patton said slow, steady, climber, and sticky. Said it reminds me of a slow motion video. I like that. And also Patton said reminded of people who have hidden talents because he was walking on the wooden stick. That's fun. Colin said slimy, cool, slow, reminds me to persevere because it is trying to climb the hill, and also gave me the words rocky and dirty. And then Kaylin gave me, said reminds her of a worm or turtle because it's so slow. Now I took all of those ideas and I sort of grouped some together. I put a lot of those similes and metaphors together, things like she's a swirled slimy slinky, or her shell is swirled like a big lollipop, or it reminds me of a slow motion video. I put a lot of those together. I grouped a lot of the describing words together, words like humbly and sticky and slimy and dirty and all of those things. And I think we should get busy and see what we come up with. And I have to tell you right away, let me grab my whiteboard markers here. I have to tell you one of my favorite lines was that line about she moves like a raindrop down a window. Isn't that a wonderful line? And you know, so often it's really hard to come up with a simile that just feels brand new. You know, a new way of looking at things. And I thought that was such a wonderful line. I want to use it right away, except I want to use it at the end, because on a good poem, poems don't necessarily just begin well, but they have to end well, and sometimes they end with a surprise. And I just really want to finish with this line about moving like a raindrop down a window. So I'm going to put that down way down here, just so we remember. I'm going to say moving like a raindrop down a window. And I'm going to put this down here, and then we're going to work our way backward in a sense, because I just don't want to forget this, and I like it so much that I really want to end our poem with this thought, moving like a raindrop down a window. I thought that was such a nice thought. Now we can get busy with the beginning, and maybe we can start off with something about our just describing what our poem is about. We know it's about this snail. We could say, I did really like that word humble. So how about let's start with the humble snail. I have a squeaky pen today. The humble snail. And somebody mentioned something about the swirl. The swirling. It's the shell. Let's make something about. How about maybe pulling her. Or we'll say pulls her swirled shell and then we had good words. Somebody had said something about being persevering. And let's try. How about the humble snail pulls her swirled shell, and I'm going to say with patient, because that just seems like a very good definition for a snail. With patient perseverance, and that just means to not give up. You know, perseverance is all about not wanting to give up. So we have so far the humble snail pulls her swirled shell with patient perseverance. Man, I just don't know if there's much more that I want to do today. Except, let's see. How about if we give a little more description up here? How about the humble? And I'm gonna add a couple of thoughts. How about the humble little garden snail? And I like the rhythm of that. Do you feel that? All of those 2-beat kinds of words. The humble little garden snail. I just think it has a very nice feel to it. The humble little garden snail pulls her swirled shell with patient perseverance. And I really like the slow motion. Let's see, let's include that someplace. The humble little garden snail pulls her swirled shell. How about right here? Can we put it in here? In slow. Okay, we're gonna try something. We're gonna do this. We're gonna go slow. Oops, I should have put a little hyphen in here too. Just a minute. Motion. Now this is like a concrete poem, or a shape poem is sometimes what it's called. And what I've done is I've stretched out my words. I'm allowed to do this, you're allowed to do this because you are a poet. And you already guessed why I did this. I wanted to do it because I wanted to give the idea of slow motion, of the movement being so slow. So we've got the humble little garden snail pulls her swirled shell in slow motion with patient perseverance. I like that a lot. And then how about if we just say she moves. Boy, that is a squeaky pen. She moves like a raindrop down a window. And you know what? As long as we had a shape poem theme happening up here, let's try this. How about she moves like a raindrop down a window. And I'm going to get rid of all of this. And you can tell why I did that, right? The idea of the raindrop moving down. And so I put in all of these line breaks here to help sort of give the idea of downward motion. And now we have 2 examples of a shape poem. We have the slow motion here, and we have the raindrop down a window part. Let's read it again. The humble little garden snail pulls her swirled shell in slow motion with patient perseverance. She moves like a raindrop down a window. Beautiful. Now this is a short poem, and that's just fine. Poems certainly don't have to be much longer than this, or they could even be shorter than this. and we put it together very quickly. A lot of times when I am working on a poem, it will take me hours and hours until I'm happy with it. Sometimes it will be several days later that I'm really happy with it, but this feels good, except that we need a title. Should we just call it Snail? Garden Snail? Let's call it Garden Snail. All right, there's the title. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take and type it up, and I'm going to make it look good, and then I'm going to put it in front of that video, and we'll see how it looks all together. All right?
Garden Snail. The humble little garden snail pulls her swirled shell in slow motion with patient perseverance. She moves like a raindrop down a window.
All right, my poet friends, thanks so much for stopping by the workshop today. Remember, pay attention, see the world in new ways. Maybe you'll surprise yourself. Okay, take good care.